What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, man, Rigbylogical, back again with another video. And in today's video, man, we're gonna be doing something really interesting, man. It's my first ever detailed video defending a player, or this is my first detailed, well researched video ever, man. And as you can see, we're gonna talk about one of my favorite players of all time, Carson Wentz. Um, I love Carson Wentz. I've been loving Carson Wentz since he came in the league. As y'all know, I'm a big, humongous Eagles fan. So we're going to be talking about Carson Wentz, and we're going to be talking about his 2021 season. And me personally, I think Carson Wentz is still a top 10 quarterback, which sounds crazy, but I have evidence and research to back it up. Now, first and foremost, this video is a personal video. I'm not here to convince you on why. Well, I kind of am, but take it with a grain of salt, or call me delusional. I really don't care. This is just me saying why I think Carson Wentz is still a top 10 quarterback. And the Colts failed him really bad, and he didn't fail the Colts. The Colts failed him. So that should really be the title, or the the title or whatever. So with all that being said, we're going to get straight into the video. Standing at 6'5", 237 pounds, throws with his right hand from Raleigh, North Carolina, went to North Dakota State University with the second pick in the 2016 NFL Draft. The Philadelphia Eagles select Carson, the GOAT, Wentz. Okay, man, as you can see, I love Carson Wentz, man. But nah, the story behind Carson Wentz, as y'all know, 2016 was his rookie year. He did pretty mid. 2017, up until the Rams game, he was amazing. Actually was the front runner for MVP. If you wasn't rooting for him, you just a hater. Simple as that. But all jokes aside, and the 2018, it was a bit of a, it was like a confusing year. As y'all know, he played, he got benched, he got hurt. Nick Foles took over. That was a weird year. And then in the offseason of 2019, the Eagles had to make a decision, and ultimately they chose Carson Wentz to be their quarterback. Good decision at first. You had mixed reviews at the time. People were saying bad decision, should have went with Nick Foles. Nick Foles won the Super Bowl. All this, all that. But me personally, I didn't care who was my quarterback. I like both of them. That's just me personally. But we got to get into it. But before we get into it, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the video, man. This video took a long time for me. I don't really do videos like this. This is my first time. But expect more videos like this to come. So let's get into it officially. So heading into 2019, Carson Wentz, he signed that mega max deal. Carson Wentz, it's supposed to be his breakout year. No more Nick Foles, no more distractions. It's Carson Wentz and the Eagles. But that window is also closing, because if he doesn't make noise this year, the Eagles, possibly can draft a quarterback, possibly can trade up, move on from Carson Wentz. It's just a championship or bust type of mindset. I think that's just unrealistic. But that was sort of the narrative back then. But going into 2019, Carson Wentz, he actually finished top 10. He finished top 10 that year in touchdowns, passing yards, and in interceptions thrown. In terms of interceptions thrown, not say top 10, but he was in that category of not so many interceptions. Again, he threw 27 touchdowns, 4,000 yards, and 7 interceptions, which top 10 in yards and touchdowns. And he was in the same company as Tom Brady and Kirk Cousins in terms of interceptions not being thrown, and Aaron Rodgers and Alex Smith. I don't think Alex Smith played a full year that year. Sorry, but you know what I'm trying to say. He took care of the ball, but all that sounds good. But the one downfall that he had was injuries. Okay, so ever since that 2017 injury, Carson Wentz, he just hasn't been the same player. His athleticism took away. He plays a lot more scary. Doesn't have that confidence, but when he has his confidence and when he's going, he's the best quarterback. He's top 5. He's stupid, ridiculous. But he plays scary when he's not protected, and you gotta understand, like, I guess you could say he got PTSD. I don't know, but you know what I'm trying to say. But he got hurt versus. So we went to the playoffs. We played the Seattle Seahawks in the wild card round. It was a pretty mid game. Carson Wentz got hurt a couple times in the season already. He got hurt versus the Falcons, like week 2. Yeah, in week 2, Carson Wentz got hurt. I think he got hurt another week. I'm not sure. I forgot, but I know he got hurt in the Falcons game because I remember watching that game. That was a really good game. Falcons versus Eagles. Julio Jones ran that historic. I mean, that touchdown is part of his Hall of Fame career. That screen pass, we call it cover zero, and they threw the screen pass and he took off with it, right? So, and then played the Seahawks. Jadeveon Clowney had that dirty hit on him, and that was the end of our season. We lost to the Seahawks that game, that day, and then the Seahawks lost to the Packers the very next week. So heading into 2020, season with free agency and the draft, the biggest question for us was just acquiring more pieces for Carson Wentz. Alshon Jeffrey, he did not want to be with Carson Wentz. He wanted to be with Nick Foles. He didn't like how we kept Carson Wentz. So we went out and got Marquise Goodwin from the San Francisco 49ers. We drafted Jalen Reagor. And we drafted Carson Wentz's replacement in Jalen Hurts. At the time, I felt like that pick was really more so as an insurance plan rather than trying to replace Carson Wentz. Because you gotta understand, Carson Wentz, he just wasn't the same player after that Rams injury. And the Eagles, they wanted some sort of backup insurance plan, I guess we wanted. And Jalen Reagor, he was already mid-tier. I didn't like how we drafted Jalen Reagor. We could have had Justin Jefferson, so that's an L. But the whole Jalen Hurts one, I mean, I don't think it's an L. So, heading into 2020, again, Carson Wentz, this is like his final straw. We got the insurance plan. We got some weapons around him. Our defenses, it was okay. I mean, we acquired Darius Slay. We had Jalen Mills for one more year. He had a phenomenal year. That's a way different video for a different day. And then, so we had Doug P, and let's see how it goes, right? Carson Wentz, he's going to break out. He's going to go crazy, right? Wrong, man. Carson Wentz had literally his worst year to this very day. I mean, it was so embarrassing to watch him that year in 2020. First off, he only played in 12 games. He got benched the last 4 games by Jalen Hurts. Well, I think he got hurt too, and it was COVID year. He may have had COVID probably, but I know like the last 2 games he got benched. First off, he had 15 interceptions. The last time he threw more than 10 was his rookie year, and he had 14. Okay, he had a tie of a career low of 16 touchdowns, which tied with his rookie year. Now, part of the interceptions was Doug Peterson's fault. Doug Peterson did not game plan correctly in a bunch of games. He tried running our 2017 scheme, which is essentially scat protection, which is essentially like sending out all available receivers. And even though our O-line was banged up all year and didn't have any healthy receivers, like Doug Peterson did not switch up his game plan every week. He tried to leave it the same, and it just didn't work out, and that led him to get fired. And because he benched Jalen Hurts in the last game for Nate Sudfeld, so the Redskins could go in the playoffs, or the Washington football team. Sorry, I don't want to get canceled, but you know what I'm trying to say. Basically, it just wasn't a good year for us. So going into 2020, the big question mark is: do we keep Wentz or do we trade him? Do we just bench him as he's an insurance plan and let Hurt start? What do we do, right? Well, we trade Carson Wentz to the Indianapolis Colts for like a first rounder and like a third rounder, I believe. The chart or like the trade details are right there. So that's what we trade Carson Wentz for, and basically, it's a new life for Carson, which I'm super excited about, which leads us to this video, right? So now this leads us into the more analytic side of the whole video, or the whole thing. Carson Wentz versus other quarterbacks. So the first 5 games, the Colts they tried to run a heavy passing game. 3 of the 5 games, Carson Wentz threw over 35 times, and he was pressured numerous times, right? And I know what you're thinking, right? The more you have it in your hands, the more likely that you are to be pressured, right? And you'll be correct, right? But the thing is, but the problem was that is that Carson Wentz was pressure at a abnormal rate than most other quarterbacks. Now, I took a graph here, and as you can see, we got their dropbacks, we got their pressures, and we have their that percentage is the percentage of dropbacks and pressures. And as you can see, these 6 quarterbacks, popular names, household names. You got Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Allen, Burrow, and Matthew Stafford. So, and again, you will be correct, right? The more you drop back, the more pressure you would get. And here's what I mean by in the beginning of the video that the Colts failed Carson Wentz. Okay, you gotta protect the quarterback. Okay, you mean to tell me that Tom Brady, he was pressured only 11% of the time. He had 265 dropbacks, one of the top receiving cores, and pressure only 11% of the time. That is insane to me, right? That is insane to me. Give Carson Wentz what Brady had: his passing core, his offensive linemen, and the defense. Which I'm not gonna talk about the defense. Okay, but give Carson Wentz that. Even with Mahomes, okay, people thought Mahomes was getting pressure abnormal, this and that, but his top 5 passing attempt games, 268 dropbacks, 50% of the time he got pressure, and 18% of the time he got pressure. He was under stress, whatever you want to say. Okay, those are the only 2 quarterbacks with winning records. So, but as I can see, Josh Allen, he had 285 dropbacks. He had 87 pressures, which is just insane at a 30% rate. No other quarterback again had a winning record during those 5 games, but Brady and Mahomes. Wentz was the only quarterback who had 0 wins, which is sad. But Matthew Stafford, right? Even looking at him, right? He had 223 dropbacks, 29 pressures, and he had 13% of the time he was pressured. That is insane, man. Like, give Carson Wentz that, okay? Like, Carson Wentz has never really had that before. And if he had a clean pocket, like for an entire season, for 8 games, 10 games, he would do really, really well. Okay, that's just me. Okay, I think he would. Now, Carson Wentz, he had 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, right? Mahomes had 6. Herbert had 6. Now, these interceptions. Burrow had 6. So Wentz had less interceptions than those guys, same as Brady, but he had 10 touchdowns. The only guy who has less than him is Josh Allen. Allen went 9-4 in terms of the interception and touchdown ratio. So here's the second group of guys that I came up with: Teddy Bridgewater, Derek Carr, Kyler Murray, Dak, Kirk, and Baker Mayfield. Teddy Bridgewater and Carson Wentz, they're in that same bubble, like that same sort of tier. Like, they don't have really good O-lines, right? They never had really good O-lines. Kirk Cousins, he's just different, right? Kirk Cousins, he had a really, really good 2021 campaign. I mean, during his top 5 passing games, I mean, he had over 4,000 yards. He only threw like a handful of interceptions. Bro went 11-1. His touchdown to interception ratio. Got pressured 24% of the time. 213 attempts, 149 completions. I mean, Kirk Cousins, he's just a different breed, right? Nothing you can do about that. But not every quarterback has that in them, has that dog mentality. Carson Wentz has it. That's me being a little delusional. Carson Wentz has it, no doubt about it. But looking at these other quarterbacks, man, Derek Carr got pressured 21% of the time. Now, you can go back to the old picture with Carson Wentz's stats. Wentz has more touchdowns, but the same amount of interceptions. More touchdowns than Kyler Murray, but more interceptions. More touchdowns than Baker Mayfield, and less interceptions than Baker Mayfield. 1 more touchdown than Dak Prescott, while getting pressured 5% more in their games. Come on, man. I mean, this may be a little delusional, and again, I may say, bro, you're delusional, right? And maybe that is true. But just again, look at the numbers and look at like the O line plays a big part. Now there are two quarterbacks that we have to compare him to. His two replacements, Jalen Hurts and Matt Ryan. I think this is just a big part of the video is comparing him to them two because they took his spots, right? They thought Jalen Hurts thought Jalen Hurts the Eagles thought we thought that Jalen Hurts would be a better product than Carson Wentz, and the Colts thought the same thing. Even though the Colts really didn't add nothing, right, to the O line, I don't think so. They did. I mean, if they did, just comment down below. But the Eagles, I mean, we really didn't. Again, like we didn't add any O linemen, except for we developed some guys. One of our guards, I forgot his name, but let's look at all three of them, right? Looking at all three of them, Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts, they have the same amount of dropbacks. Matt Ryan just has two more. I mean, okay, I guess, but Jalen Hurts, he is a running quarterback, so when he is under pressure, he can just use his legs, which I really like about him. But Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan, they have the same amount of touchdowns. Carson Wentz, he was pressured 1% more. He was pressured just more overall. He had the least amount of yards, not really by a lot. I mean, he's really right behind Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has the least amount of interceptions, so it's not really that big of a jump between the three quarterbacks. Maybe, okay, the percent, yeah, but Carson Wentz did have a lot of throwaways, right? He's smart, right? His IQ is through the roof. I'm just playing, but all jokes aside, though, the Eagles, in 2019, right, went to the wild card. Even though Wentz did not play in that game, we lost. Jalen Hurts' first full year, right, lost in the wild card, right. And again, I am an Eagles fan, but I'm tired of this. Carson Wentz is trash. He's garbage. Boom, 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 boom. Like it's all his fault. But it's not all his fault. There were times where Jalen Hurts, it wasn't his fault, and the media, people, they say give Jalen Hurts more, give Lamar Jackson more, give these players more. When it comes to Carson Wentz, he sucks, right? Matt Ryan, I've been a big fan of Matt Ryan for a long time. I still think he's still really, really good. More of that middle pack, not bottom of the bottom, but he's not 2016 Matt Ryan. He still is really good. I think he's not an upgrade of Carson Wentz. I think they should have kept Carson Wentz, fixed the line, maybe, and yes, they did get another receiver, and then boom, you're fixed. You're ready to go, right? The Colts receiver core was so bad last year, only having one receiver having 1,000 yards, and he barely cracked 1,000 yards in Michael Pittman Jr., right? And then it hits a cliff. Michael Pittman, he dang near had 3 times more yards than Zach Pascal, but Pascal had 384 yards. Now, it's funny because he's an Eagle now, and I think he'd be really, really good, but he's not a good second option. He's not. He's not a good third option. He's a good, Devontae Smith is out for this game. Let's throw in Zach Pascal. He can give us, a couple runs, a couple here and there's, right? But they did so terrible. This is just crazy to me. So we're heading into the, bottom half of this video. Not the bottom half, but the ending of this video. And the one last thing we have to talk about is the Jacksonville Jaguars game. Okay? Now, as y'all remember, if the Colts win this game, it's the final game of the season. The Colts go into the playoffs, right? Boom. If they lose, they have to rely on another team to win to beat their team and they're in the playoffs. But simple, win the game versus the league's worst team, and you're in the playoffs. Simple as that, right? Simple. And they lose. Not only do they lose, people blame Carson Wentz. Not only do they blame Carson Wentz, but they don't even look at the numbers. Okay, now let's head into it. Now, as you can see, Carson Wentz, he had 17 for 29. He had 185 yards, one touchdown, one interception. A terrible game, right? But when you look down, he got sacked 6 times. That was the season highest, right? He got pressure 11 times. That was the 4th highest. He had about 38 dropbacks. Pressure rate was 29%, almost 30%. That's the 4th highest. How you gonna win a game? How are you gonna win a game? And I know what you're thinking. What about Jonathan Taylor's stats? Jonathan Taylor had 15 carries for 17 yards, no touchdowns. His longest run was 23 yards. That Colts offense was struggling. And you want to know something? It all starts with the offensive lineman. Okay, that's what my belief is. In order for you to have a good offense, the O-line has to be good. Have a good defense, have a good defensive lineman. Okay? Like, that's just simple as that. Okay? And coming to the conclusion of this video, man, it's not Carson Wentz's fault. Now, rather, if you want to say that the Commanders or whatever is a better fit for him or whatever, quite honestly, I really don't know. Okay? The point of this video was to talk about how the Colts did terrible for Carson Wentz. And I think I did a semi-decent job. Again, give Carson Wentz a better O-line. Give Carson Wentz some weapons. And he's a top 5 quarterback. But anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And we are out. Deuces.